Now, some city leaders and local business owners are upset over what they consider a double standard concerning design standards. Today, the Amarillo City Council continued to consider those standards set in place for the downtown area. They're intended to help with beautification and restoration efforts, but some prominent developers have been granted exemptions. Pronews 7's David Grasso-Ortega is here with more. David?
Larry, tonight we bring you an inside look at the downtown design standards. Since downtown development efforts began, these standards mean that any new building and some renovations must meet strict new standards that are intended to make downtown more aesthetically pleasing and walkable. But in recent years, some variances granted to developers have raised some eyebrows. The Bernard twins own a body shop downtown, and when they moved there were no design standards. Now, since downtown development efforts got going, they've found themselves surrounded by construction and subject to the design standards.
I was wanting to add some overhead doors to the rear of the building and the north face of the building, and so we hired a contractor. He got plans drawn up. He went down to get a permit. They immediately said, okay, no, you have to go talk to Kelly Shaw. He has to approve it.
Kelly Shaw is the director of planning for the city of Amarillo, and he told Pronews 7 that design standards are an extra layer of zoning requirements that are in addition to all standard codes.
We still have the base zoning of Central Business District, but on top of that we have the Downtown Urban Design District, and along with that we have special development standards associated to those properties within that boundary.
And while the design standards do add costs, the Bernards told us that the city so far has been extremely helpful.
So far they've been collaborative. They've feedback from them has been positive. Seem like they're really trying to work with us to try to get our project done. I don't have any problem with the design standard. I think that's a good thing for downtown, but I think it should be the same for one person as is for all.
There has been the perception recently that some folks in town have been granted variances because they're well connected. City Councilman Brian Eads told Pronews 7 that it's time to stop granting variances and that downtown design standards exist for a reason.
This is not intended to be trick or treat where a developer can come in and pretty much do whatever they want. The downtown design review standards were not intended to be a starting point. They were intended to be a finishing point with rare exceptions.
But in most cases, variances aren't needed. But opening up a business downtown can be complicated, especially for people who are new to downtown. Patrick Burns of Palace Coffee told us that one downtown agency, Center City, helped him navigate the design standards approval process.
The design standards was a simple process for us. I met with Beth Duke over at Center City, and they were involved in the facade grant. And so they got with our architecture firm, Playa Design, that we worked with, Mason Rogers over there, and they worked together, got the proper documents filled out. All I had to do was sign some papers, and they got it to the right people, approved it, and here we go.
Councilman Eads says it's all about consistency.
The goal of the Downtown Design Review Board originally was not to provide any kind of option that all kind of seems reasonable. They were supposed to be very rare exceptions for really absolutely essential variances.
Shaw says that his staff is at the taxpayer's disposal and can aid in getting through the approval process.
I would highly recommend the first thing that anybody does if they're wanting to do anything in the downtown as far as exterior changes to the building or new construction, just to call the planning department and ask about it.
And the city is working on amendments to the downtown design standards to clarify some of the requirements. Meanwhile, the question remains if the City Council will move to change the approval process to ensure that design standards are followed with few exceptions. From the Kennedy Broadcast Center, David Grasso-Ortega for Pronews 7.